What's going on, people of the internet? I went to my local REDBOX today and I decided to rent the Lego Batman movie. And I figured, hey, why not? Why not talk about it? So, yes, the social engineering is strong with this one. Yeah, the the whole thing about these innocent kids movies is that they are, um, meant for kids. So it's a good little avenue for indoctrination. So of course they're going to embed little gradualism, just very, subtle changes from what you're used to. So they had Barbara Gordon in this movie, and she was of course, being a female, she has to be in a power position, and she is in this kind of, I don't know, she kind of shoehorned herself into the whole Batman family thing for some reason. I'll get into that a little bit. But she has always been Commissioner Gordon's daughter. I don't think she was ever a commissioner herself, or a law enforcement officer or whatever. But in this version, she is the commissioner, I believe, and so shoehorning authority there. And of course, nothing materializes between her and Bruce Wayne, Batman. So, it's like you can't really have closure when it comes to heterosexual relationships, but of course they're talking about all kinds of different relationships. So, of course, they've coined a frame and a phrase, relationship, or I'm not into ships, any kind of relationship. But they use the term relationship in ways that are traditionally, like, Batman and Joker were talking in the movie about about their relationship, and it sounded very much like a romantic relationship, although you know different. But yeah, in the comics, the Joker would traditionally, I mean, I think there were gay versions of the Joker, but I might be wrong. I think there was like one comic or something that portrayed him as being a little bit too infatuated with the Batman. So pardon me, it's a little late for coffee, but here we are. Okay, yeah, they mentioned a Prince song. You remember in the first Batman, the 1990, the Batman with Michael Keaton. Yeah, Michael Keaton's doing a comeback. I think that's really cool. It's good to see him. But they mentioned a Prince song, and this is what's kind of weird when it comes to that, because they mentioned that Prince song, and in the beginning of the movie, they were mentioning the a quote that was made by Michael Jackson as well. So they mentioned two dead celebrities that died in their 50s. So they didn't have to mention the Prince song. They didn't, because Prince died, and I went on Wikipedia and looked. So April 21st, 2016. This movie was released on January 29th, 2017. It was shown in like Dublin or something. So that is a good 6-7 months. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. That's a good 9 months. Apparently, these films take a while to make. You would imagine, like a 9 month window. They would be actively working on it. So the fact that they had to mention Prince, I thought it was weird, because we all know those celebrity deaths are fishy, and yeah, yeah, yeah. There's such a thing as star whackers. Look into Randy Quaid. I don't know if he's playing the conspiratorial nut. I don't know if he's playing the role, because he could. He's still an insider, but they're not going to whack him. I guess they have these celebrities like Jesse Ventura that talk about conspiracies, and I mean, they're set in place for a reason, and they're not gonna kill the supposed whistleblowers, because the supposed whistleblowers are withholding certain information, or they only know but so much, or they're just not gonna stop them because they're, you know what I mean, like, what can they do anyway? Thinking outside the box here, but yeah, with that was a little bit weird. The Joker Batman joke about their relationship, it was funny but sad. The whole narrative, because the Joker really looked kind of broken when in the beginning of the movie, where Batman was saying, "We're not, like, I really don't care about you." And it was kind of like he was breaking up with him, And the fact that it kind of evoked somewhat of a reaction in me, I could see that evoking somewhat of a reaction with children. And that's scary because with kids, everything's a blur. They're looking at the movie, they paying attention to their friends, they're laughing, they're kind of halfway paying attention, they're in and out. They're looking at this movie and they're looking at two grown men talking about feelings. And in a way, it's kind of sweet and good natured, but you can tell that agenda's totally at play here. And if you think I'm crazy for saying this stuff, you got to be a little bit crazy because you don't believe in this stuff, you know? So there's that. Yeah, Robin, he was joking about two dads. He was like, he didn't know the difference between Bruce Wayne and the Batman. So he was like, oh, great. Oh, I got two dads. And no, you don't make jokes like that, especially in kids movies. You know, I don't think there's enough parents that are willing to set aside the time to say, hey, you know what, little Bobby, little Susie, you weren't an accident, by the way. You're not illegitimate, but that's beside the point. But these movies, let's talk about it. And I never had in-depth conversations with my father about movies. Never. Like my mother, she'd never sit me down and really kind of like, it was always me inciting the, hey, don't you think this movie is, what do you think about this and that? It's like, it's enough to get, like, it's a miracle you wake up in the morning and put one foot in front of the other. It's like really thinking about a movie and really critiquing it and breaking it down. Not a lot of people are doing that, or not a lot of people want to, or have the time to, so... since I can't really turn off the ticker, it's I love thinking about everything. I might overthink. Could be a potential bad thing. I go off on tangents, but yeah, if you don't like it, you can deal with it. Let's see. Yeah, Barbara Gordon was never commissioner. Yeah, the whole feminism thing. You have to have a female in a role. Oh, in the beginning, Batman dressed up as the mayor. And then it was just a costume. You took off the wig, and in Masons and stuff, they do the with the celebrities that you have to dress up as a woman. It's kind of a shaming ritual. So that's a thing, and it's a part of the whole inversion, the as above so below Baphomet androgynous male female thing that they're forcing out. So cross-dressing for men is just a big thing. They're trying to come out with skirts for boys and stuff, and it's just, what kind of world are we living in? Because I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube where people are like, yeah, this is why the end is here. Like we're in the end days. This is the apocalypse. This is what is this? This isn't, like, there's a lot of people just not accepting what's being, culture's being manufactured and formed and made in front of us, and there's little that we can do about it. No, I take that back. We can. We just don't have a strong enough family. We got too many split up families, and the family's the only way to really keep these things. But yeah, tangents. Using shaming narratives, saying it's not okay to be a loner. Yeah, like Alfred was talking to Bruce Wayne, just saying, yeah, you really need to have a family, or like, all this and all that. They were making it a big deal that he was just being a rugged individualist by himself or something like that. In this day and age, you can be somewhat of a loner. I mean, I would say that you might need people. I think females need people more than males do. But yeah, being a loner is not bad. You could be just on the internet doing what I'm doing. I'm not that social. I get enough of that from my job. I don't want to do nothing. When I'm done socializing from work, just leave me alone. I just want to do my thing, And there's nothing wrong with that. And nothing worse than obligations and getting tied up with people and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking that it's kind of promoting this message that you need to be social, you need to do this, you need to pair bond, you need to get with people. And then when you go off into the real world, when you're done watching the movie, you see the social engineering and the feminism and all of this stuff. You end up feeling defeated because this utopia version of reality that you saw just totally doesn't correlate with real world. So, you can end up feeling even more disenfranchised, but you gotta stay somewhat innocent for the kids. the movie kind of promotes narcissism because for the most part, Bruce Wayne is just like, I'm better than you. He didn't really say it like that, but he was like, yeah, I'm so awesome. I'm so cool. I got I got these ripped abs and everything, and like I'm rich and just all of this, and I think a lot of kids will not absorb the majority of the content. All that they are paying attention to is the action and the funny stuff. They really don't care about everything in the middle. And when they see Batman, their overall lasting impression of the Batman is kind of like a smug, arrogant, narcissistic guy. So society kind of promotes narcissism anyway. Solipsism, the belief that there's nothing, the only thing that exists is yourself. Anything outside of yourself does not exist. So, yeah, why is it promoting family in our social climate? Yeah, gaslighting. Yeah, I kind of already talked about that. Misusing term relationship. Yep. Using the wrong context. Talking to Joker, but talking about like our relationship. Like, dude, like in real life, you don't talk to people like that. I'm guessing it's just teaching kids to be more emotional. Boys, we typically don't talk about our relationships with other guys. So, kids they're impressionable. Those first few years, I'd say 0 to 8, they are really impressionable. Maybe up until 9, still impressionable. And you can still have critical moments until you're 15, I believe. And then, cherish memories, I guess, until your 20s or whatever. You're always forming memories, and but misusing term relationship. It's very confusing and very murky. So they're promoting homosexuality for sure, and disharmony between males and females. Maybe when the guy gets the girl or whatever, you would think that Bruce Wayne gets with Barbara Gordon because he had a thing for her. But at the end of the movie, it was like he kind of made his feelings known, but it didn't really get him anywhere. So maybe that kind of fuels the narcissism too, because females, they, I forgot my train of thought, but that's okay. Anyway, young kids will get confused. Alfred dresses up as the '60s Batman at a certain point. And again, with kids getting confused, not just confused in nature because they're kids. Their attention is going everywhere. So when you are paying attention to the action scene and you see Alfred dressed up as '60s Batman, you see that there's two Batmans, and then earlier in the movie and later in the movie, Robin talks about having two dads. They might not know the difference, so they'll think the '60s Batman is, and the normal Batman are two dads. And the media and the brainwashing. You'll turn on the TV and you'll hear about people with two dads, and I guess expect more of that because homosexuality agenda, they just won't sit down ever since they got that free vote or whatever, or the right to marry, which isn't really anything to worry about anyway, because like marriage is just enslavement. But okay. Endearing movies juxtaposed with agenda messes with the subconscious. Yeah. When you got those feelings and you're kind of like your eyes are welling up a little bit, you're just kind of emotional, and then and then you got the, it's like you think of the Lego Batman movie as a whole package. Your brain recalls, oh, the Lego Batman movie, and you either recall, oh, I liked it, or I didn't like it, and then you realize why. It's kind of like murky waters. You kind of have a vague idea of what you remember. You can't recall every single thing, but the neurons and stuff in your brain are making very specific avenues, little pipeline ways. You could say that you overall like something despite it having a kind of a homosexual agenda to it. So anyway, you can't compartmentalize emotions in the brain. So you feel certain ways, but it's packaged in this whole, it's gift wrapped. So you either feel one way or the other about Lego Batman movie, and then but you got all these little messages, so you can't. Everything's a mixed bag anyway. So voice actors, the brain recognizes voice intonation. So when you think of this sweet little kids movie and you remember certain actors' voices and stuff. Later on, you're gonna see them in different movies or different shows or something, and you're gonna recognize that voice, and you're like, I like that guy for some reason. I like that girl for some reason. It's her voice. Yeah, I totally. And you might even recall it. Like, oh, it's from that Lego Batman movie. Okay, that was a cool thing. And then you just kind of like that person. Then later on down the road, they're like, yeah, let's take away all our guns and they might start talking about. They might start talking about all kinds of bad stuff, but you're a little bit more susceptible to agreeing with them because you remember them from something good. Gradualism is what they're doing. Yeah, the Joker put on lipstick at a certain point. Yeah, I guess I don't know if he always did that, but yeah, the character, he always had makeup on anyway. So that's always kind of effeminate, kind of iffy about the Joker there. A little bit off. Encouraging cosplay fan fiction stuff. I totally see that. This movie's not doing anything to stop or suppress any kind of I can see nerdy people just getting online and just talking about all the different relationships, and like making it anything they want it to be, and it's kind of gross. It's totally gross. So yeah, I could totally see that, and yeah, just cosplay in general, just dressing up as your favorite characters, and yeah, just that internet stuff. Just writing fan, fiction. It's gross. Movie ends with positive message for lasting impression, covering embedded messages. Yeah, at the end it was saying friends or family, and it was just like, yeah, you know how like you watch these movies and it's just kind of like you might have seen a movie, it doesn't really make you feel a certain way, but then at the end it's like, celebrate good times, come on, and it's just like, am I supposed to feel anything? Because I feel like I'm being forced to feel something. And yeah, I totally feel like they're kind of like covering their tracks. It's like, because the lasting impression of the movie, that's what you're going to leave the theater or leave, with looking at the movie. And you're going to, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. You might rate it or whatever. But when you leave the theater with that elation or whatever, it's kind of inauthentic because they're covering up the whole gay agenda, the feminism, and all that other garbage. So yeah, pretty good popcorn flick. If you just want to turn. I mean, I don't recommend turning off your brain. Just watch with critical thinking. Godzilla, what do you think? Yeah, give it like a 6 out of 10. Oh, okay. I appreciate y'all looking at this video. Y'all have a good one.